G'day guys, thanks very much for the Ashes memory nomination, Alf. Appreciate it. I've been absolutely love listening to everyone's memories. It's brought back some great times, that's for sure, and brought a smile to my face a few times too. So yeah, keep it going, guys. Look, I've got so many wonderful Ashes memories. You know, growing up in the 70s and 80s. Yep, I'm old. I'm 51 this year. So anyone my age will remember the backyard cricket and trying to be Jeff Thompson or Dennis Lillee or Ian Chappell, Ian Botham, Tony Gregg, and all those guys that played in that time, and watching some wonderful cricket. I suppose fast forward to 1989 when I played my first ever league cricket for Imperial in Bristol, and watching Alan Border regain the Ashes series in 89 set the dream alive of saying, I want to be part of these Ashes series. And I was lucky enough to be part of my first ever Ashes series in 93, and what a first test match it was. And wow, I mean, Graham Gooch was out-handled ball. Ian Healy made his first test 100. Couldn't get the helmet off. The helmet strap he was trying to get off, he couldn't get it off to celebrate. Merv knocking over Mike Gadding with the last ball of the day was just awesome. And I managed to get one past you too, Gad. Thanks very much for missing it, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you. And from then on, all through the rest of my career, every Ashes series was special. It was just outstanding. 2005 obviously stands out as a special series, even though we lost. Played in 9 Ashes series, and that was the only one I lost. It was an amazing time. That I think the camaraderie, the sportsmanship, the skill that was on display really captured the imagination of the public all over the world. So that one's not my favourite memory, but it has to be mentioned. Yeah, 1 out of 9 is not. It's not bad. It's not bad. But I think above all, it was the mateship, the friendships that last forever, that were formed and made from both England and Australia. The camaraderie between both sides. It was always played in great spirit, hard, tough, but fair. We used to always go in each other's dressing room and have a beer with each other after the day's play. I think that's what really stands out from my Ashes memories. Yes, there were some great test matches. Yes, I was very lucky to do some pretty special things in Ashes as well. But more or less, it was the camaraderie, mateship, and the friendships that were made for life. That's what really stood out for me. The Adelaide Test match was also awesome. After Andrew Flintoff decided to declare at 550 ahead, England were 50 runs ahead going into the last day and lost. We managed to do that. Well done. And we won that 5-0, that forgotten Ashes series. But look, it was just great friends that have lasted a lifetime, great memories. You know, one of my favourites, I suppose I have to, playing in front of your children is always pretty special. And my last ever test match at the MCG in front of my children, my family, and my friends that have been there for my whole life was pretty amazing. Boxing Day 2006, in front of, as I said, 92,000 of my closest friends as well. Taking my 700th Test wicket in front of my children was probably one of my favourite memories of all time in Ashes battles. And yeah, as I said, look, the camaraderie, mateship, and sportsmanship, and the friendships that were made were outstanding. So I have to pass it on now. I'm going to pass on not to a player, but someone who has seen it all. That is you, Errol Alcott, aka Hooter.
Hey Dos, Ashes memories from me. Well, I have to say 05. First time we'd beaten you lot in 18 years to beat your team, the team that had so many stars, superstars of the game. Probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 would get into the all-time Test 11 if you had a vote. That's how good you lot were. So for us to win, that was very special. Actual shirt here from that series. But for me, the Ashes is about the kind of friendships, the kind of camaraderie, those moments in the dressing room. So the moment after the win in 05 stands in my memory, all you guys drinking with us. But 2002, 2003, my first tour down under, being in that Sydney dressing room. This is actually the bat I used to get 100 at Sydney. There it is, the old purist. It's got a bit of signature, the 183 in the second innings. On a pair I was, Brett Lee in the first innings, managed to scrape a few in the second. But being in that Sydney dressing room, the famous Sydney dressing room, Rocky, the dressing room attendant, the late Rocky, used to leave us a message on the dressing room wall every single day to give us some motivation. Even though he's in Aussie, he wanted us to do pretty well. But sat in that dressing room in Sydney, in amongst yourself, Justin Langer, Steve wore, Steve getting that famous 100, but just being in that famous dressing room at the SCG, drinking a few cans. John Howard, the Prime Minister, he came in at the time. That for me, with the Oval, just being in the dressing room with players that throughout those 5 matches that you play, you hate. But by the end of it, when you're in that dressing room, you all realise that we're only human, we all are pretty normal, we all like a drink or two, we all like playing the game of cricket. So it's those 2 moments, just sat in the dressing room, 2003 in Sydney, 2005 at the Oval in the dressing room.
Well, thanks, Davey, for your nomination. It's a great initiative, I think, that the big fella Matty Hayden's come up with to get some of our old blokes talking about Ashes cricket and some of the great memories that we have from the game. So, growing up in the northern suburbs of Tasmania in Launceston, it was always a childhood dream of mine. One, to get a chance to play for Australia, but hopefully get a chance to play some Ashes cricket. It was all I ever thought about when I was playing those games in the backyard. Those games are always Ashes test matches. So for someone that played a lot of cricket, I think I played in 8 or 9 Ashes series, to sit back now, I've obviously got lots of great memories and some that are not so fond as well. And I want to start with some that probably aren't so fond, and that's the 2005 series in England, where we were beaten by Michael Vaughan and his men. But when I think back now, I still have, even though we lost, I have some unbelievable memories of what was just probably one of the all-time great test match series ever. As I said, Vaughan and his men were too good. They outplayed us. Some of the moments in that series, and we had a great opener at Lords, won the test match there comfortably. We went to Edgbaston, where it was just one of the all-time great test matches, 1-run victory to England there on that occasion. We go to Manchester, we had to battle out the last day and a bit and try and bat out for a draw, which is a situation that the Australian cricket team hadn't been in much for a long, long time. We managed to do that. We go to Trent Bridge, we're outplayed there again, and England snuck across the line in another amazing game of cricket. And then obviously it culminated at the Oval with us going there needing to win the test to retain the Ashes, and unfortunately we weren't quite good enough. But the everlasting image I think that came out of that series was Freddie and Binger down on one knee celebrating the end of the amazing game. Freddie's first thought was to get to Binger and just show some great sportsmanship, and I think they're the things that I remember most about the Ashes battles that we had. Is when we were on the field, it was on for young and old. It was playing the sort of cricket that Australia, that I certainly wanted to play anyway, the way that I was brought up. It was going to be hard-nosed, tough test match cricket, and we enjoyed that, and so did Vaughan and his men in that 05 series. So we battled hard on the field. We got together at the end of that series, we shared a beer, and that's what Ashes cricket was all about. Now the next series that I wanted to talk a little bit about was the one that Davies just mentioned, which was the 06-07 series, which gave us a little chance at redemption. It lit the fire in the belly of some of our senior blokes, and we worked long and hard to make sure we're up and ready for the start of that series. And we got off to a great start. Brisbane was a great win for us. We got to Adelaide. We were completely outplayed in the first part of that test match, but I think we all knew that if we played our best cricket from sort of the back end of day 2 onwards, if we played perfect test match cricket, we all felt that we could win the game, and that's how it turned out to be probably the most remarkable test win that I was a part of. I remember going to Perth, winning in Perth and clinching the series over there. But the memories and the overriding memories that I have from Ashes cricket are the ones that happened in the Sydney Test match, where we had Warne, McGrath and Justin Langer, 3 of the all-time great servants of Australian cricket, all retire in the one game. Glenn got a wicket with his last ball in Ashes cricket, which was fitting for him. Warne did what he does, and then Justin Langer had the stage set perfectly for him and his great mate Mathew Hayden in the 4th innings of that game to go out and pick off 40-odd runs to win. Stuff that fairy tales are made of. Now, it was an emotional time for me. Now, those guys I mentioned there are some of my best mates in the game. I was captain to look around the dressing room for the next test match and realise those guys weren't there. It was always going to be something difficult. But Big Doss and JL, they got the job done, steered us across the line. We won the series 5-0, and the celebrations with us and with the England players in the dressing rooms at the end of that game is something that I miss, but also something that I'll always remember. So there are some of my great memories from Ashes cricket, and the person that I want to nominate to carry this theme on is Kevin Pietersen. All the best. Cheers.
Ashes memories, thanks Pranav. Yes, Ashes memories, fond memories, incredibly fond memories for English cricketers and for Australian cricketers and for fans. I think you get remembered at the end of your career on how you played in an Ashes series and how you went in Ashes cricket. You understand the significance of it when you turn up at test grounds and they're full. always full. That 2005 Ashes that you talked about, the grounds were full before we even went in. But I've got a little confession that I'm going to make after I've chatted about Brisbane. Pana, the confession is going to come just towards the end of this clip, and it's going to make you giggle, and it might frustrate the hell out of you. However, Brisbane, the love-hate relationship with Brisbane, fond memories. I do have fond memories. I played my 100th Test match in Brisbane. I had the most beautiful battle with Warne in 2006 after he was apparently too friendly to me in 2005 in the Ashes series here in England. So we had a big ding-dong, big battle of words. He was trying to knock me over. He threw the ball at my head, and I was thinking after I should have rammed a couple past Gilchrist's ears. And it's fond memories like that, but one in particular when I was standing on the boundary in one of the Ashes Test matches there in Brisbane, where I was sent down to the boundary and sent down to third man, and as the pantomime villain, every time I played an Ashes Test match in Australia, I got hammered, and Freddie sent me down to the boundary. I was down the third man, and oh goodness, I was getting, I was thinking like, how on earth can I at least try and stem the flow of abuse? So I thought of the kid then. He was asking, KP, please come and sign my back, please come and sign my back, please come and back. I was thinking, should I? Ball after ball after ball. And I thought, you know what, there's 20,000 people, they're all abusing me, let me just go and do it. As I got there, and I think it's recorded, it's on camera, I go there and I go and put my hand forward. As I put my hand forward to take the bat, the kid goes, "Way!" And so do 10,000 other people, they go, "Way!" And so from then on in, I just thought, Brisbane, I've got no interest. I've got absolutely no interest. And you know what, I've taken it so far down the line now that I can't start saying that I really like Brisbane, even though I do like Brisbane. I played my 100th Test match there, for goodness sake, so I've got to like the place. My confession, Melbourne, Boxing Day Test match. Pana, you'll know all about this. Siddle runs up, Siddle knocked me over for fun. I nick one to the keeper. Hayden goes up, everybody goes up. Pana runs at me from extra cover. Alim Dar says not out, or Billy Bowden. Was Alim Dar or Billy Bowden? Punter gives him the biggest serve ever. He walks away, and again, this is also caught on camera. As he walks away, he starts walking away to extra cover. I gave it the old. That was caught on camera. The wink was caught on camera. I think NASA was commentating at the time. Nothing was made of it, but I absolutely smashed the cover of it. I just couldn't let Peter Siddle get me out again. Those are a couple of my memories, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it.